Take a breath. 78% of what just went into your lungs is nitrogen. Your body is built out of it, and it cannot use a single atom of it. So where did yours come from? About half the nitrogen inside you came out of a factory, and the machine that made it burns 2% of Earth's energy, doing a job a bacterium in the dirt does for free. We've been trying to copy that bacterium for 100 years. We still can't, and the reason is quantum. The problem is a bond. Two nitrogen atoms in the air are welded together by a triple bond, one of the strongest in chemistry. Nothing in your body can break it. Then, in October 1908, a German chemist filed a patent. Fritz Haber had made ammonia out of thin air. He forced nitrogen and hydrogen together over an iron catalyst. It won him the 1918 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Haber is complicated. The chemist who fed the world also ran Germany's chemical weapons program in the First World War. Haber-Bosch took it out of the glassware and built it at the scale of a city. That earned him a Nobel of his own. But look what it costs. 400 to 500 degrees Celsius, up to 250 atmospheres, steel engineered not to burst. That's brute force. A century later, we still do it that way, 170 million tons a year, to break one bond. Now here's the part that should bother you. In the soil under your feet, a bacterium is running that same reaction right now. No furnace, no pressure vessel, room temperature, 1 atmosphere. It uses a tiny cluster of iron and molybdenum atoms, FeMoco, the active site of an enzyme called nitrogenase. FeMoco takes that same impossible bond and opens it, gently, in the dirt, at the temperature of a spring afternoon. And we don't know how. That's not me simplifying. The mechanism is still an open problem. So simulate it. Model the cluster, watch the electrons, read off the answer. Except electrons don't sit still in little seats. FeMoco's electrons exist in a superposition of every arrangement at once, all entangled. To write that down exactly, you need one number for every configuration. For FeMoco, that's about 54 orbitals, which works out to 2.5 times 10 to the 31 configuration. Store one number on every atom in your body, every atom, and you'd run out 3,000 times over. And add one orbital, it doubles. In May 1981, at a conference outside Boston, one physicist said the obvious thing out loud. Richard Feynman's answer: stop faking nature with classical machines. Build a computer that is itself quantum, and let it do what the molecule already does. His actual words, the last line of the paper: nature isn't classical, damn it. In 2017, a team from ETH Zurich and Microsoft did the arithmetic on that idea. Their worked example: nitrogenase. Their verdict: a quantum computer could crack FeMoco in reasonable time on a small quantum computer. And here's where I have to be straight with you. Small meant about 100 perfect qubits. Perfect. Nobody has them. Wrapped in the error correction that makes them perfect, their algorithm needed something like 100 million physical qubits. Sharper methods pulled that to 4 million. The best machines on Earth today have about 1,000. And they're noisy. And in 2023, a Nature Communications study hunted for proof that quantum machines beat classical ones across chemistry. That evidence has yet to be found. Which doesn't kill the idea, it sharpens it. Maybe not all of chemistry, but maybe the one molecule worth the trouble. Which brings me back to you. Roughly 48% of the people alive right now are fed by nitrogen out of those factories. So this was never a chemistry problem. About half the nitrogen atoms in your muscle, your skin, your DNA, came out of a steel vessel at 400 degrees. You are, quite literally, partly a product of that machine. And a bacterium in the dirt has been doing it better than us the entire time. So let me leave you with this. When we finally build a machine that works, should we point it at the thing that feeds us or the thing that makes money?